From increased flooding, rising sea levels, and harsher storms in some regions, to severe drought, more frequent wildfires, and food shortages in others, the potential consequences of climate change are truly devastating. By now, you've probably heard. At least 97% of actively publishing climate scientists agree that climate change is real and humans are behind it. But have you ever wondered how they came to that conclusion? Let's look to the science to find out. It's no secret that Earth is running a fever. The 10 warmest years in the past 136 on record have occurred since 2000, with the exception of 1998, and 2016 is set to smash the temperature records again. But we know that Earth's climate has been changing throughout history, even before humans existed. So could what we're seeing now just be natural? Based on evidence left in trade rings, layers of ice and glaciers, ocean sediments, coral reefs, and layers of sedimentary rock, scientists have created a record of Earth's previous climates or paleoclimates. Combined with computer models, this record reveals that the current warming is occurring way faster than what happens naturally. In the past 100 years alone, the temperature has risen by over 0.9 degrees Celsius, about 10 times faster than the average rate of Ice Age recovery warming, with over 2/3 of that occurring in just the past 40 years or so. And it gets worse. While it normally takes Earth roughly 5,000 years to warm just 5 degrees, models estimate that Earth will warm between 2 and 6 degrees in the next century alone. That's at least 20 times faster than the natural rate. So what is causing the warming? Scientists have identified increased greenhouse gas emissions as the primary cause. Greenhouse gases, most notably carbon dioxide, or CO2, trap heat inside Earth's atmosphere by absorbing and re-emitting light reflected off of Earth's surface that would otherwise escape into space. We first started emitting carbon dioxide at incredible rates during the Industrial Revolution, and although for the past 400,000 years atmospheric carbon dioxide has never exceeded 300 ppm, or parts per million, now we've emitted so much of it that we've exceeded 400 ppm, an unprecedented amount. And disrupting the global carbon cycle this much spells bad news for our climate. Evidence taken from ice cores shows that for hundreds of thousands of years, the amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere was correlated to Earth's average temperature, meaning that when atmospheric carbon levels were high, so too was Earth's temperature, and vice versa. And although it is hard to tell from the data whether the rise in temperature came before or after the rise in CO2, we know that increases in CO2 do cause increases in temperature. In fact, if the greenhouse gas effect didn't exist, Earth's average surface temperature would be a frigid 0 degrees Fahrenheit instead of the comfortable 59 degrees it is today. It has been scientifically proven that when excess CO2 accumulates in the atmosphere, our planet warms. We've known about this for a long time. Scientists first demonstrated it in the mid-1800s, and since then, we've proven it true. Since different materials absorb light at different wavelengths, scientists are able to use satellites to determine how much light is escaping into space or being absorbed by different elements. Data like this show that less heat is escaping today than 40 years ago, primarily because greenhouse gases are absorbing it. As the amount of atmospheric carbon dioxide soars to record-breaking highs, we can expect Earth's average temperature to rise rapidly as well. We find even more proof that climate change is caused by greenhouse gases by observing atmospheric temperatures. Observations show that the atmosphere's lower layer, known as the troposphere, is heating up, while the upper stratosphere may have actually cooled. This is exactly what we would expect if greenhouse gases were trapping heat near the surface where carbon levels are the highest instead of letting it permeate upwards. This is causing the boundary between the upper and lower layers of the atmosphere to actually shift outwards. Much like a balloon expands when you heat the air inside it, our lower layer is ballooning outwards as it heats. Conversely, if the warming were just caused by the sun, the upper and lower layers would both warm together and the boundary between them wouldn't be expanding outwards like it is today. But could natural causes also be having an effect? While natural climate drivers like changes in solar activity and volcanic eruptions certainly have some impact on our environment, scientists record these impacts and account for them when making models that predict future changes. When scientists only take natural causes into account, their models predict no atmospheric or ocean warming, deviating severely from current observations. It's only when both natural and man-made factors are considered that the models predict reality accurately. Previous predictions made by these models have also been proven accurate over time. One study comparing models found that since 1992, models have been within 3% of measurements, and multiple other studies have come to similar conclusions. Even so, a lot of people don't think humans could have such a big impact on the planet's environment. After all, we're pretty tiny in comparison to Earth. But we can clearly see our impact and footprints left behind when we emit carbon dioxide. Atoms of the same element that have different masses are called isotopes. CO2 coming from fossil fuels and deforestation is composed of the lighter carbon isotopes than the heavier molecules that come from natural sources. When scientists measured the weight of carbon in the atmosphere over time, they witnessed a clear increase in the amount of lighter carbon present. This demonstrates that we humans are noticeably changing the atmosphere's composition. Given that the evidence in this video is really just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to climate research, it's no wonder why the overwhelming majority of climate scientists agree that climate change is real and we're the ones to blame. It's time to stop arguing over whether or not this is happening. Anthropogenic climate change is real, and we need to start working together to stop it before it's too late. Have any questions about climate change that you want answered? Let me know in the comments down below, and don't forget to subscribe for more climate science videos.